What is going on, fellas? Welcome back to another video here on my channel. I have a few clips we're going to be going over today. I also have a Reddit story from one of my favorite subreddits. I have been visiting this subreddit for the past couple of months, picking out some of my favorite stories, and this is from Dating Over 30. Hey, that's me. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. So with all that being said, hey, how's it going? My name's Rat Boy. Let's do it.
Okay, let's talk about the worst types of boys to date in college. First up, frat boys. Listen, frat boys are fun for about a week. Then you realize they don't know what the word commitment means. They spend more time at their frat house than they do with you, and their idea of a date is you coming to their party. They know every single sorority girl on campus, and their brothers come first. Don't even think about getting serious. Bros before hoes is real for them.
But these women always do try to get serious with these guys. And this has been happening since I can remember. They just pass these women around like they're, well, you know what I'm talking about. These women come to these frat parties and all the dudes go into different rooms and the girls just are on rotation. Then 8 a.m. rolls around, they got the walk of shame. If you've ever seen any movie that involves frats and colleges and stuff, it's exactly like that, but worse in a lot of ways.
Next up, the athletes. Yeah, the athletes are usually tall and cute, but they do not have time for you. You will never see him on the weekend unless it's to watch him play. And don't even try to talk about yourself. His sport will always make it into the conversation.
But these women also, again, with the athletes, usually it's going to be the athletes that are in good shape. It's going to be the athletes that have a lot going for them. These women will still try to date these men. And actually, a lot of times these women are just dating themselves. Like she said, these men are so busy doing other things that they will, come by their house a few nights a week to blow their back out, but then they gotta get back to his coach. He's gotta train. So this isn't unfamiliar. So you can call it dating, I guess. You can call dating a frat guy dating, but you're not dating him. You're just in the rotation. Same thing with these athletes. They have a lot going for them, so they're gonna have multiple women reaching out to them, and they'll have a new woman every week.
And every girl is sliding into his DMs, even if they know he's not single. You're basically dating the sport, not him. Oh, and if he loses a game, yeah, he's depressed for like a week.
No, you're not dating the sport. See, I already told you, you're dating yourself. You're just spending time with yourself, and he's going to entertain you whenever he feels like it. And usually that entertainment's going to involve, someone getting plowed.
And finally, my favorite, the sweet, quiet nerds. They're sweet and smart and always ready to help you with your homework. But good luck getting them to actually ask you out because they can never make a move. They can barely make eye contact with you when you're flirting. You'll spend all your time staring at them across the library because that's their idea of a date. And that's the most action you'll get. Don't do it.
This last part I will have to disagree with. A lot of times those nerdy guys would be probably some of the best boyfriends, some of the best even husbands. You could have these guys will stay with these women and possibly marry them. Absolutely. However, I must also say that leave these nerdy good men alone. Okay, leave them alone. Keep them in the library. They're probably doing something really important like playing Magic. Leave them alone. Do not bother these men. Okay, they're doing a lot more important stuff. They don't need to be involved with women that have been passed around by fraternity bros and basketball players and everything else.
Types of men to avoid at all cost. Number one, I like to call this one the nighttime lane. This is the one that hits you up after dark. You're not a priority. You're just convenient.
And no, these women actually love these types of guys. If this guy is super attractive and these men are texting these women at like 2 a.m., these women are always available. Even when they're in relationships, even when these women are in relationships, they will always answer those nighttime texts from those dudes. And at first it'll be like, I can't do that. I'm married now. I can't do that. But then 6 months later, she's sneaking out and getting her back blown out by Chad. It happens all the time.
Number two, the I miss you texter. Now, this is the one that doesn't really miss you. Shocking. He's actually busy living his life without you. And normally, on a random day after he's hungover, he'll hit you up on like a Tuesday, maybe 2 a.m., maybe 2 p.m.
And these women constantly entertain men like this. These are the men that these women always run back to. If you're ever wondering why some of these women run back to their exes and stuff like that, it's because of these texts like this. These women are really in love with these dudes. Maybe they found a better woman, one more attractive, one that, maybe they got caught cheating on the side, which is what a lot of these men do sometimes. And I'm talking about the men that are able to cheat. A lot of men are not able to cheat. There's a lot of men that are really just not even able to get relationships. But these types of men send these text messages. Hey, I miss you. I want to see you. I need to see you. We were so good together. And these women, 99% of the time, will always go back to these men. Very rarely will these women even stay in the new relationships they get after these men break up with them. They will always go back to these men.
Number 3, the confused man. Nope, he's not confused. He just doesn't want you enough. Sorry.
No, he wants you. He wanted you for a night, and then he saw what he was getting, and he opted out. You know, there was no contract signed. A lot of these men, they experience the ride and they realize that the ride ain't all it's cracked up to be, and so they move on to greener and better pastures. There are a lot of women out there that will have no problem entertaining men like this. Now, will these men stay committed? You know what? That's a really good question. A lot of times, men that have the status and the money, they really don't have to stay committed. They don't have to. You know, they say lust is the rich man's gold, and they put that in action. So whenever you ask a woman, and I saw this in an interview recently where, I think Kevin Samuels was asking a woman, what would you put in a list of priorities? What's more important, resources or feelings of love? And the women would always choose the resources. That comes first. The love is something that, depending on how much money you have, that determines how much love you're going to get from that woman.
And last but not least, the narcissist. Now, this is the love bomber. This is the person that makes everything about him. And this is the person that gaslights the shit out of you. Now, we're going to just run away from all 4 of these because you're learning from me. Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, nobody's learning anything from you. And modern women have kind of took terms like narcissist and gaslighting and stuff like that, and it has no meaning anymore. It has absolutely no meaning anymore. Those words are completely useless. They used to have a definition, but now it's just they meet a guy and he lies to her and he gets the nighttime visit, and now all of a sudden he's a narcissist. No, he's not a narcissist. He's just a guy. He's just a normal dude. You just happen to be really attracted to him, and your legs swung open like the revolving doors at a Walmart. This isn't healthy behavior. Okay, you can't do something willingly. Okay, these are choices you made, and then turn around and call a guy a narcissist, and then he calls you up the next day and be like, hey, look, I know I've been blowing your back out for the past couple of days, but I just don't want to see you anymore. That's not gaslighting. Okay, that's just a man refusing you. So yeah, you can try to stay away from these men, but I'm gonna be honest with you, it's gonna be a tough road for you. And these women are still kind of young. I don't know how old this woman is. I'm gonna say in late 20s, but they're still not learning anything from this. Now, I'm gonna warn you guys. This next one is just sorry for the jump scare, but I think it's important. We need to hear what this individual has to say.
Why would you want to be with a guy that doesn't know how to communicate his emotions? Like, doesn't know how to talk when there's an argument. Like, is that the type of guy that you want to marry? A guy that when you fight with him, he goes silent or ignores you, gives you silent treatment because he thinks that that's going to work and then that's going to punish you.
It's not about working and it's not about punishment. Men don't care about anything like this. A lot of men don't care to fight. Men do not want to argue with women. Men have realized that arguing with a woman is the biggest waste of time a man can do. Women like to argue because they think that challenging a man or getting on a man's nerves is a way to increase stress hormones so that he will love her more. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Men want peace. Men want a woman who is very agreeable. And whenever a woman starts to fight back, starts to yell, starts to argue, starts to do these things, it's very unpleasant for the man. And a lot of times he will just leave, or in this case, he'll just ignore her, ignore the fighting, because men do not want to fight. Men do not want to fight with women. They do not get in relationships to argue with a woman. Men have to argue with other men all day. Why would he want to come home and then argue with someone who's supposed to bring him peace? It makes absolutely no sense.
It's giving vintage parents. It's giving uneducated. It's giving no emotional intelligence. It's giving childish, immature behavior.
Those injections are giving me post-traumatic stress or something. That it looks like they're about to pop. It looks like some raw boudin or something. I don't know. I don't know what I'm seeing here, but it's very disturbing to me.
You want a man that's going to sit with you and come to a solution on why you've argued and talk about it and sort it out. So if there's a guy that's buckling and, you know, when you speak to him, you feel like he doesn't give you the best communication, don't think that you're going to fix him, because you're never going to fix him.
That's a waste of time for a man. So here's my thing. A lot of these arguments mean absolutely nothing. Women start arguments to stir up drama because they're boring. They want some excitement in their life and they don't know how to bring that excitement from themselves. So what they do is they try to start drama and arguments around them so that they have a plot. This is just the way women are. Okay, now, again, I must say that there are women out there that do not care about stuff like this. Sure, absolutely. But then again, you're looking at a woman like this. So you can make the assumption that she is probably starting arguments for no reason, just to give her boyfriend these shit tests to see if he'll pass or not. A lot of men do not like this, and a lot of them will ignore you or just straight up leave you.
And you should never go into something thinking that you can fix a man, because I'm going to tell you one thing. You will never, ever fix a man. Sometimes some people just stay to see and think, oh, it's going to get better. I'm telling you from experience, it doesn't.
Yeah, these women want to fix a man, but I guess she went to the doctor to fix her lips. They don't look fixed to me. Okay, they do not look very well. I'm not sure why women choose to do this. And I don't know how this woman looked before. She might have been fairly attractive. Looks like she takes care of herself in some ways, but this is just complete delusion. A lot of times a guy will be with a woman like this and then she starts getting all these injections and nips and tucks and everything else, and they are like, okay, I didn't sign up for all this. I didn't sign up to date some sort of science experiment. I'm out. I'm out. I'm completely out of this. And so they just end up walking away. All right, so today's story is from one of my favorite subreddits called Dating Over 30. The last one got banned. Thankfully, there's a new one. And these stories just bring so much wisdom and so much honesty. I just can't help but read some of these sometimes. And the title of this one is called, Should I Let This Guy Go? Should I Let This Guy Go? Met someone at the beginning of January. First date was incredible, really great chemistry, and a lot of laughter. We were drinking and ended up hooking up. It was the best experience I'd ever had in years, TBH. Texted a bit afterwards and invited him out the next weekend and didn't hear back. Sadly figured it was a one-night stand for him and went on dates and with other people but couldn't shake thoughts of him. Texted him randomly last week just to see if he would reply. Invited me out for drinks. Amazing time again. Explained he's divorced and he has a kid and he didn't know how to bring it up, and saw that my old profile made a joke about not wanting to step parent. Parentheses, I would with the right person. We hooked up again, even more amazing. Mentioned that he was shocked to hear from me and figured I was texting the wrong person. He came over last night to my place strictly for the nighttime visit and we hung out a bit. We get along really well, and I know myself enough to know that I've developed feelings very quickly. I made sure to ask about his divorce and what he's looking for, and said that when I like someone, my focus is on them and I don't see other people. He told me he's not sure what he wants and can't give me the same focus. His work days start at 3 a.m. and he spends every other weekend with his kid, and he's still distracted with dealing with his divorce lawyer and hammering things out in court. But if those things weren't taking up his time, he'd be up my ass texting me all the time. So you can already see a lot of the red flags here. He hid about his relationship status. He hid his kid. But this woman got that on the very first night. This woman gave her everything, and now she is completely infatuated by him. Infatuated by this dude that could even potentially still be married. Isn't that crazy? And made it very clear it's not me that's the issue, but his hectic life. When talking about his ex leaving with his son, he teared up, as did I, so he seems very genuine about everything. He also said that the first time we hooked up, he hadn't cuddled with anyone since his ex. I hadn't either, and I had left a 9-year relationship last summer. He said he'd still be into hanging out, doing things around town, etc., but jokingly said there's a million guys in our city for me who just like him. There aren't. He's awesome. My heart is telling me to stay, but my brain and guts are telling me to walk. And then the rest of this is just her feelings and whatnot. We don't really care about all that. And this is a very interesting story because this happens all the time, especially when you're doing online dating. You're meeting these men. 99% of the time, these women are hooking up with these men on the first night. That's just the way it is with online dating. Now you know these women are not meeting these unattractive men, these average men. This guy is obviously very good looking, and he's still married, and he's got a kid. So There's a lot of red flags happening here. Any woman that would be reading this story would automatically say, oh, she needs to get out of that situation. She needs to go find someone else. She needs to do this. But women do not do what other women tell them to do. Actually, I would say that they do the exact opposite. And a lot of times, you should never trust what a woman says. You should always trust how they act and what they do. That's why it's important that when you're getting to know a woman, you should listen to what she has to say, but you should always do your own research. You should always look at her social medias yourself, figure out what type of content she's posting, see if you can find any other men that she's been with on her social media, stuff like that. That's just the way it is now. So in this situation, this man has lied to her, made sure that he hooked up with her before he told her that he was married, by the way, which he didn't say that in the post, but here's the kicker. If you're going through a divorce, guess what? You're still married. You're still legally married. So she is hooking up with a legally married man with a kid, and she doesn't know what to do. She's confused. Should she call it off? Should she keep seeing him? He doesn't have time for her, but she is still willing to do all the work. This is the type of response that men get whenever a woman actually is attracted to them. They will make any excuse to spend time with that man, even if he is doing everything he can to put distance and to push this woman away. Obviously, the comments are saying to get rid of this guy, but I can almost guarantee you that this woman is completely infatuated with him, and she's going to be riding this ride until the wheels fall off, evidently. So it's unfortunate. It is unfortunate because this is what dating has become in my generation. And this is why I've completely opted out of dating, because of women like this. Women like this will go out on a date with a guy, hook up with him the first night. He will ghost her. She will actually reach out to him. She texted him, by the way. They hooked up again a couple more times. And now he's telling her, yeah, he's married. He's got a kid. Oh, by the way, I don't have time to text you or talk to you or spend time with you. But if you still want to hook up every other weekend, we can. That's dating in 2025 for a large majority of people over 30. But anyway, fellas, that is going to be the end of today's video. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments down below. Like the video. If you're new here, subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Rat Boy out.